Hello. This is Genkipro from Save or Quit. Today I'm having a look at Children of Morta, which was released today on Steam from DeadMage and 11-bit studios. The store page sells it as a story-oriented action RPG, which is pretty accurate, I think. I got a pre-release version. Very lucky. I've been playing it for maybe 10 hours, something like that. Made a fair bit of progress. I was going to show you where I was up to, but actually I should probably start again so you get a bit of the story background. It all has pixel graphics, so there aren't many options, but what's here certainly works well. You can use keyboard or mouse, but I'd recommend controller. It actually works fantastically. Alright, I'll shut up a bit for the intro. The narrator is really good.
Margaret awoke, startled, a cold sweat clinging to her. She gathered her thoughts. Aged wood creaked, echoing through the quiet rooms. Near the house stood a shrine to Rhea Dana, goddess and daughter of the land, of Rhea and a being of comfort. Margaret sought answers. But the goddess did not speak. There was only the faint whisper of something dark, something hungry. The old seer's bones felt the weight of their age as she climbed. The only thought on her mind, has it begun again? John's mission would be a simple one. He was to investigate Rhea's greatest shrine. His mother presented him with a fresh divinity shard. From his brother came a newly sharpened sword. His wife gave him a kiss, and his daughter's hugs were full of reason to return home safe.
So very nice pixel graphics. I'd love a little bit more detail in the faces so we can see expressions, but that's a minor complaint. It's also beautiful, and the animations are great too. Very detailed. Alright.
Rhea, a land long forgotten, a place of unimaginable beauty. It first appeared as sludge given life, slithering creatures, small and vile. A wall impeding further progress. A battle was certain. Vanished by light itself, the corruption abated, leaving the shard cold in hand, dark, in need of life.
I love the hero names. John, Mark, Margaret, Kevin. It's fantastic. That's where this game really shines, is in the story. I'm sure they've chosen such normal names deliberately, so it makes the story sort of more real.
The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy.
Nice.
Before him was now one more dangerous than those that came before.
Poor little animal.
Goblins, a familiar threat, albeit farther out than usual. Magnificent, but dangerous. A land of love found and of love lost. Before him was sacred ground, left untouched in days gone by. Remaining calm and collected, the shock of his heart-skipping beats was concealed in expert fashion. Before him stood Linda, his eldest daughter, with bow and quiver at the ready, determined to do her part. Before the Guardians were not beasts feeding, but monsters consuming, destroying others. They corrupted and distorted, creating even more hungry husks. Both father and daughter gathered their thoughts, their hearts heavier than before. How would they explain what they had witnessed? The ancient tree had been cut down. Together, father and daughter described the horror, the creatures dripping with decay that slithered into bodies stuck between life and death to bolster their ranks. Grandma Margaret confirmed what they all feared. It was the corruption, a cruel entity spoken of only with hushed voices, an ocean of darkness that flowed from the top of Mount Morta. And the Bergsons' duty was to stand against this devouring deluge of death. Kevin was also eager to do his part in the family's fight, especially when his older brother Mark was off somewhere. He was as much a guardian of their mountain home as any of them. She stood. If they were to reach the summit and destroy this evil, as the Bergsons of old had done in the past, they would need the assistance of the sanctuary. Given to the Bergsons by Rhea herself, the sanctuary was a gateway to the mysterious lands around the mountain. Margaret pointed to the huge crystal at the center of the den, revealing their next task: to activate it and open the way to the source of the corruption. And once Rhea's 3 spirits are gathered on the grounds, the only gate to the top of Mount Morta will open in this chamber. By himself, or with the assistance of those who loved him, John needed to gather the 3 spirits from their lands. Without them, he would not be able to stem the flow of the corruption.
Okay, so that's the intro. From then on, every time you discover something new, you get a little bit of tutorial information about it. To begin with, they're the only characters we can select. I like Linda. Playing with Linda's like a twin stick shooter.
A celestial shard chipped directly from the ancient crystal in the sanctuary. It would be the Bergsons' lifeline, a tether to pull them back home before death's fateful whisper.
In other words, though it has a lot of roguelike elements, it doesn't have permadeath. So each character is very different. Get a little blurb on each one when you first play them. They use, some of them have stamina which they use for things, like Linda uses for moving and shooting, but not both. Some of them have armor, different effects. It's good. They're all very different to play, and as you play you unlock more than just those first two. They each have different skills as well, which you can unlock as you play. Some of them are pretty similar. I think everyone has a Guardian's Rage, which lets you build up a rage meter and turn into a superhero for a brief time, and they have different stats as well. So basically it plays a lot like, I keep saying it's a cross between Diablo and The Binding of Isaac. It's more like The Binding of Isaac in the gameplay, but as you can see it's like an open plane rather than the room-based procedural generation of Isaac. These little things just suck you into the middle. See that message a lot. Gemstones are like the keys for chests, as well as a currency for a dungeon in-game shop that you find later on. They're a very rare resource. Well, not rare, but rare enough that you get annoyed when you don't have them when you need them. Oh, they're little traps. They damage you as well as enemies. Oh, okay, and there are two types of barriers. So we'll see golden barriers or yellow barriers, like in the introduction, that are always sort of protecting an area that you can't get hurt in. They're just, you go and you get a divine relic. These blue barriers tend to open little sort of unique scenes within the dungeon, some of which are beneficial and others of which just sort of kick your ass. High jump. Can't remember this one. Got a little combo bonus there. Oh. Might be useful. Get away from him. Oh, that's a really good one. So you get different types of relics that fit into different slots. I think to begin with you can only have one of each type. That one's really fancy. It stops. It only lasts for a few seconds, but if you're in trouble you just go boom, and enemies don't see you, you can run away. It has a 30-second cooldown though. the traps. They damage enemies too. Here's the end of the level. That's a nice thing. Oh, goody relic. I don't want to replace that one. Yeah, I think I'll just get this one. Yeah, so that's a really nice effect. When you go away from the end of level, you can go back to it just by doing this. Means you don't have to waste too much time backtracking once you've done the exit.
The thinnest strands of white fibers coated the ground and walls, evidence of the silk caverns living up to their name.
So, yeah, do the next level, keeps going. I'll just let her die. We'll see if we get a little narrative interlude when we get back to the house, because they're really cool. They really add to the gameplay.
The Bergson began to slip away, wondering if this was death.
Now you lose your relics that you collected, but you keep any skill points that you gained and spent, and the morve, which is gold coins, which you can spend on updates later on.
They gasped for air as
I hate the singular day when you know the sex of the year. It's terrible. That one really grates at me. It's the one thing I don't like about the script.
As she heard John and Linda describe their foray, thoughts rushed through Margaret's head. The corruption had amplified the creature's wickedness, and no longer were they part of the harmony of the Rhea. With the new threats looming, Margaret asked Ben to prepare his workshop. He would have to take charge of enhancing the warrior family's weapons and armor.
So it's really cool.
Uncle Ben reached out to the familiar warmth of the forge. If they were to reach the top of Mount Morta, their equipment would need to be of the highest quality.
Yeah, this meta progression after every time you come back home, either you defeat a level or you die. As you progress, it unlocks more things. So we did a workshop now. Later on, we get like a magical workshop, unlock new characters, and little story elements, which are really nice as well. So they're only little incremental benefits, but they do add up after a while. Yeah, and I'll see if I can see one. No, it looks like they're... Oh yeah, over here. Little snippet. You get these little story bits which aren't important to the gameplay, but I think they add a lot to the game.
On calm days such as these, Mary enjoyed venturing into the nearby grove. The woodland creatures came out to lend her company. The smallest ate from her basket, while she took in the serenity of it all.
So while the gameplay itself is actually really repetitive, you keep doing the same thing over and over again in the dungeons, just gradually unlocking incremental benefits. Every time you come back here, there's more to see, and it's really good. It keeps you going and playing. I'm impressed. So, I'll just quickly jump back to the title screen and have a quick play with where I was up to. You can see what I've unlocked after about, I think it's about 10 hours, so I'd have to check, but something like that. So you can see now I have access to sort of magical workshop. There's lots of little upgrades you can get, most of which are quite nice. The workshop I've unlocked 5 upgrades, I think. 4 upgrades, no 5. Dodge is good. And more characters. I don't think I have any other stories. No. So I haven't even finished this first section yet. From what I could gather from the introduction, there are 3 sections that you have to beat, each one with a spirit. Each one of those, well, at least the first one, is divided into 3 stages with 3 levels in each stage. I've got to the end of this and I keep getting my butt kicked by the Guardian at the end. So you can see I've unlocked a fair few skills. Linda's my favourite, but I've also unlocked Kevin, who's a crazy little dude with daggers. He's a bit difficult, I haven't played him that much. And Mark, who's really good, but I also unlocked this corruption fatigue there. You can see, I think if I just don't play him for a while it goes away, but I don't really want to risk taking him in there with only 33% health and making him worse. So there you go. You can reset abilities too. I don't know what that little thing is down there. It told us at the start. I haven't tried it, but I figured I don't need to at the moment anyway. So I'll show you what Kevin's like. I'll die really quickly, I'm sure. He's a crazy dude. But if you haven't already gathered from what I've been saying, I'm really enjoying this. I actually, at the moment at least, I'm enjoying it more than The Binding of Isaac. The gameplay is really similar, especially for the melee cards like this one. But I love the story, it's really good. The production values are fantastic. It's all really impressive. So he builds up frenzy and moves faster than the attack, but he also ends up taking a lot of damage, and health can be hard to come across. I've unlocked these obelisks, which are just little timed buffs. Some of them can make a big difference, most of them just make a little bit. I haven't unlocked that yet, I assume I will at some point. Oh, I hate this one.
Endure the mind's gamble.
So you don't have to do this, I can just walk away. It's basically a 1 in 3 chance of getting something good. And I didn't. I always seem to run low on gemstones, I never find enough. Take that. Oi. But yeah, those glowing guys have different sorts of powers. Some of them summon other enemies, which is a real pain. Some of them do little things like that, or cast webs, or various things. I've seen a few different effects. Oh wait. Uh-oh. That was bad. Ah! Ah! See, I'm not very good with Kevin. I get my bum kicked. I'm sure there's a better way to play him. I think I'm just a little bit too headstrong and rush in there. I should dodge more. Keep away a bit more. Oh! Another little interlude.
An answer cannot be expected to a question unasked. Nonetheless, the anticipation was exacting its price on Ben's soul. He wondered whether he should journey to Terra Lava, to Sheila, a hard decision that had now become even harder after all the years he had spent inebriated.
Poor old Ben. He has a very sad past. So, I'll do a little bit more. I really love it. I want to keep playing. I really need to stop. I'm going to play a tiny bit. I will show you Mark. Yeah, his health penalties got slightly better. Poor fellow. I'll select him again and we'll send him in with lower health just so you can see. Looks like there are 2 more characters to unlock. I'm guessing one of them will be Sheila, Ben's ex-wife. Not sure about the last one. So he plays sort of similarly to Kevin, but rather than building up frenzy and getting faster attacks, that blue bar is his armor, and the armor builds up as he hits people. And he seems to do more damage too. This is cool. Wow. Draws in a whole lot of enemies and stuns them if you're lucky, not always.
One held a gift. 2 hid ferocious creatures. It was the lady or the tiger for the Bergson.
There are much better special rooms than these. Ah, I always pick wrong. Ah, so that's a rune, that's something else I've just unlocked. So once you get to a certain point you unlock little runes that you put in your weapons. So that was a special effect for my secondary weapon whip. And it only has a limited number of uses, but they tend to be pretty cool. So that one was increased stun duration, very nice. So yeah, there you have it anyway. I'll let him die off. He has very high dodge. Sorry, Mark. So yeah, as you've probably gathered, I like it a lot. Keep an eye out for my review with Save or Quit. It will be up around the same time as this video. And yeah, go out and have a look if this interests you at all. Pick it up. I think it's a fantastic game. Children of Morta from DeadMage and 11-Bit Studios.
The heat had only grown more intense in the young child's hands, far stronger than any would suspect in one so young. Her training could no longer
looks like she might be the last character then.
For fire was a dangerous friend.
Very nice. Okay, I'm Genkipro from Save or Quit, and this has been Children of Morta. Thank you for joining me, and yeah, like I say, buy it, pick it up, it's fantastic.